Horror movies can be a roller coaster of emotion that takes you on a journey, speeding through turns and loops, causing you either to white knuckle the safety rails like me or scream out in joy like my wife. Having heard of stories about the emotions sparked by horror films from over 40 years ago, it has always been a safer experience that I wanted to see for myself. Welcome back to another episode of the Popcorn Confessional during our 31 days of Halloween. This is Dave from nERD, and I am accompanied by my wife Jenn, also from nERD. And on this episode, we are talking about the movie Mama. So fire up that Jiffy Pop and meet us in the booth.
After murdering his wife, panic-stricken Jeffrey flees the scene with his then 3 and 1-year-old daughters with the intent of finishing the job in a small cabin in the woods. When he's about to pull the trigger, an entity attacks him, leaving the girls to grow up in the wild for 5 years until they're found and returned to their uncle Lucas. Only they didn't come alone. The entity who saved them has followed them, and she has abandonment issues.
So Mama, oh my god, stage 4 clinger by Wedding Crashers.
Yeah,
Definition.
Don't date someone like Mama.
My god. Now, she's a ghost. Can you imagine her alive?
Yeah,
Wow.
where she could do more.
Yeah.
If that's possible.
Yeah. Wow, definitely.
Yeah.
Now, this is one of those films that I've always wanted to have that experience in the theater where, you get to see audience reactions in this.
Mm-hmm.
And there's only been a few for us
since
we've been going to the movies. There was Hostel, where people ran out of the movies during certain scenes because they were nauseous. There was...
Weak.
Yeah.
You
sat through it.
I sat through it.
Just thought about that. There was Lights Out, which was surprising because it's a decent movie, and the way it's delivered, people were screaming in that movie.
There was a lot of screaming and jumping in that movie, definitely, and it was a packed house too.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't like Paranormal Activity where they showed you all the commercials of people screaming. When we went to go see that in open night, people were laughing at that one. And then of course there was Blair Witch, where there was dead silence towards the end of the film, and then everybody coming out of the film was like, "Oh my god, what the hell happened to these people?"
Yeah,
I'm scared to go back into the movies. I'm scared to go to the woods. And then there's this film. This film really messed with your emotions.
Yeah,
you're happy, you're having fun, you're scared, and at points you're crying. It hits on every single emotion just about.
Yeah, well, I think there's children involved, and they're young children.
Mm-hmm.
They're very young when the movie starts. They're 3 and 1. You can surmise by what I was telling you that their father was going to kill them and then kill himself over his issues, and so that's really hard, especially as a parent or anybody who has children in their family that they're close to see something like that, to imagine that you could even do something like that. That's unimaginable, unthinkable. I couldn't. There's just no way. So of course there's those moments where you're like, oh my god, and it still gets me to this day watching it. I'm like, oh, I can't even. I can't.
Yeah. The movie just definitely delivers on a lot of things. I don't know why it gets a lot of hate, because it does have scary elements that are different from other movies. And, there are like weird noises that I haven't heard in other films that starts to build up that tension, and, it's like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And I thought there was a cool scene with, the way Mama was traveling through floors at one point that I haven't seen before. And I almost chuckled a little bit because I had to think of like a Jaws, when I saw that the first time. But her alone was, that character herself, very scary, which I would love to see in another film if they ever decide to get off their asses and film it.
I don't know what people's problems is with it. The only thing I can imagine is that you've got, Andy Muschietti, who did It 1 and 2, and then Guillermo del Toro, working with him, and they have twisted minds. They do.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
dark, twisted minds. So maybe that's the issue. People can't really follow with it. I love what?
So, It 1 and 2, right?
Yeah,
There's an Easter egg in it for this movie, isn't there?
the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, that painting belongs to Andy Muschietti
Why the hell would he own that type of picture?
because he's got a dark and twisted mind. So
Hmm.
he owns this painting, and that is actually who he made Mama to look like.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I can see
Yeah.
that now. So
So
Mama appears in it.
yes, in the
Connect.
painting.
Yeah,
So
no,
that, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
connected universe. But she
Mm-hmm.
comes out of the painting too.
Yes, she
Hmm.
does.
Acting in this film was very good. And this is one of the few films where Jessica Chastain's in it that I actually like. And the reason for that is because this movie is not just a straight up horror movie. There are sub stories that are going
Mm-hmm.
on in this movie.
Yeah.
And one of them is her adjustment as the girlfriend to the uncle. Lucas is an artist, and Annabelle, who Jessica Chastain plays, is a musician that plays the bass.
Mm-hmm.
And she's in a band, and the band sounds pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like they're preparing to go out on tour and do all this stuff. And when she has these two kids that are just thrust into her life, and it's like, oh, you got to
Yeah.
make choices
Yeah.
now. And she didn't really seem to like kids at all.
I don't even think she wanted kids of her own. The opening in the first part of the movie, she's literally peeing on a pregnancy test and it's negative, and she's like, "Guess who's not pregnant?" So, and he seemed happy about that too. So I don't think that kids were kind of ever in their plan because I don't know that he thought that his nieces would ever be found.
Hmm. Yeah. So there's that story arc of her going from ew until really having feelings for these kids, and the way it's acted and played out was very good.
Mm-hmm. But she does deal with the kids really well, considering that they were raised in the wilds and have all these like issues and can't communicate well.
Hmm.
I think she dealt with them very well because it's
Yes.
not easy dealing with a child that has special needs per se. So I think she did really well with that.
Yeah, so the storytelling is amazing, and how the little girls even delivered it too,
Mm-hmm.
because you have Victoria, who is 3 at the time, and then you have Lily, who is 1.
Mm-hmm.
That they get stranded in the woods. So what? You have a ghost that's helping you out and feeding you some cherries,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not going to have natural development, and that is
Yeah.
definitely held up by Lily.
Yeah.
Right. And as the movie progresses, Victoria kind of starts to remember things, and she starts to
Mm-hmm.
go back into the routine that she was familiar
Yeah.
with. The Lily has no sense of
No, she was 1.
normal.
She was a baby.
Yeah.
So I mean, she couldn't even talk at that point. I mean, maybe if a few words, a sentence, what have you, but she couldn't communicate. And Mama is really all she knows. She
Hmm.
doesn't remember her birth mother or father, where Victoria does because she was 3. Lily sees Mama as like her mom, and she looks the way she looks, and that's fine. Victoria, when the movie first started, had glasses, so clearly her vision was not good because she was only 3
Hmm.
and she had glasses, and they got broken. So she was essentially blind. I mean, she couldn't see. Her vision got worse as the years went on.
Hmm.
So she never saw Mama for what she really looked like,
Thank
the
God.
creature that she was. So then she gets new glasses, and now when she sees Mama, or she knows Mama's coming, she takes her glasses off. So that shows the progression with the fact that she's now fearing Mama,
Hmm.
and she doesn't feel like she's the person who took care of them.
Yeah, yeah. And one scene that I'll highlight is them eating at the table. So you have Victoria sitting at the table eating,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have Lily, who is used to being on all fours. She's sitting up against the wall eating what she's used to eating,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see that progression in the characters, and it's downright believable.
Yeah.
That's probably what would happen if this situation ever happened to somebody.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
have like a wild animal type of child,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have one that is used to, eating with knives and forks and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that, who's able to adjust quicker.
Yeah.
So that was delivered perfectly.
Mm-hmm. So Isabel Nelise, who plays Lily, can't speak English in real life.
Really?
She speaks French. Javier Botet, who plays Mama.
Oh, okay. I was like, who the hell is he? I don't
Yes,
remember him.
is no stranger to playing ghoulish characters. Besides playing Mama, he played Possessed Patient Zero in Wreck 2007 record. And he was also the leper in It. Jessica Chastain was the first and only choice for the part of Annabelle. They wanted her, and that was it.
I wonder if the movie was kind of written for her with that character in mind.
And then you mentioned her band. So, since the character she plays is a bassist, Chastain took guitar lessons. So not only can she play bass, she can also sing.
Anyway, so let us know what you think about this movie by giving us your rating in the comments. You know, do you like ghost movies around this time? Is there a better ghost movie than this? Please say it's not Paranormal Activity. If it is, I accept that.
But we can't be friends.
No, we could still be friends. Just as long as it's not anything after part 1.
Yeah.
So let us know by putting that in the comments, along with your review of this one and what you think. Are there other ghost movies out there that you'd like to watch around this time? Is it The Entity? Which is a good one. Is it 13 Ghosts? It's okay. The original, classic, which one of those two? Would you like to see a sequel to this one? It's written. Just needs to be filmed.
Yeah.
Like another movie we're going to talk about this month. And
don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on the notifications, and share.
Yes. And until tomorrow,
see ya.